Module 3, Lesson 33. Explain the connection between the area model division to the long division algorithm of 3 and 4 digit dividends. Let's look at our application problem. Our application problem wants us to write an equation for the area model that we're given. We know this side is 3. We know the area is 600. We know that this is 72 square meters, and the length of this side is 3. So if you were to put this together, your problem is 672 divided by 3. So you break it into two separate problems, which will make it easier for you in the long run. So 600 divided by 3 is 200. 72 divided by 3, I needed to do the algorithm over here, as you can see, and that was 24. So 200 plus 24 gives us 224. Okay, let's look at the first problem. First problem gives us 672 divided by 3. So it is easier to do the number bond first. And all the numbers that I break it into, I need to make sure that 3 is a factor of those numbers. I know 600 divided by 3. That leaves me 72. Well, I know 30 and 30 have 3 as a factor. I also know that 12, which is what I have left, has 3 as a factor. These are all also multiples of 3. If you were to skip count by 3, you would name each one of these. 3 is a factor of each one of these numbers. So what I did is I have my area model, 672 divided by 3. I don't know the length of this side. So I made my number bond. So I broke up my area model into what my number bond is telling me. I have 600, 30, 30, and 12. I know this side is 3. Underneath, I wrote out the division. 600 divided by 3 is 200. 30 divided by 3 is 10. 30 divided by 3 once again is 10. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 200 plus 10 plus 10 plus 4 is 224. Now, there are other ways you could have broken it down. This is how I chose to break it down. Remember, these need to add up to this number, and they do. These add up to 672. Okay, 672 divided by 3. You can break it down differently, as I was just saying. This time I broke it up into 300, 300, 60, and 12. These are all multiples of 3. In other words, if you were to skip count by 3, you would hear yourself saying all of these numbers. Also, all of these are factors have 3 as a factor. That means 3 times some number will give you those as a product. Here's my area model, 300, 300, 60, and 12. Just what I had in my number bond. 300 divided by 3 is 100. 300 divided by 3 is 100. 60 divided by 3 is 20. 12 divided by 3 is 4. If we add those up, we have 224. Again, you can break it up differently. Let's look at a few more problems. 1,344 divided by 6. When I create my number bond, I want to make sure that I have numbers that have 6 as a factor, or that will divide evenly into 6 without a remainder. So I chose 1,200, 120, and 24. If you add these up, you get 1,334, 1,344, each one of these will divide evenly into 6 because 6 is a factor of each one of these numbers. So I'm going to draw my area model to represent it. So I have 1,200, 120, and 24. 1,200 divided by 6 is 200. 120 divided by 6 is 20. 24 divided by 6 is 4. 200 plus 20 plus 4 is 224. Now I can take the same problem but use a different number bond. Okay? 1,344, we can break it up differently. We can break it up into 600, 600, 60, 60, and 24. Once again, all of these are multiples of 6. And we can also say 6 is a factor of each one of these, meaning when we divide it by 6, we will have no remainder. So I drew my area model to represent my number bond. Underneath, I did the division for each one of those. Okay, 600 divided by 6 is 100. 600 divided by 6 is 100. 60 divided by 6 is 10. 60 divided by 6 is 10. 24 divided by 6 is 4. If I add these up, 100 plus 100 plus 10 plus 10 plus 4, I still get 224. So as you can see, how you split the number up in your number bonds doesn't really matter. You are still going to get the same answer in the long run. Okay, let's look at one more. 1,216 divided by 4. Well, I can see right away I can take 1,200s out because 1,200 divided by 4 will give me 300. That leaves me with 16, which I know is a multiple of 4. So 1,216. Here's my area model. Okay, here's my area model representing my number bond. 1,200 divided by 4 is 300. 16 divided by 4 is 4. So 1,216 divided by 4 is 304. $539 divided by 2. Okay, right away I know that this is not going to come out evenly. I'm going to have a remainder. So I'm going to start just by breaking it down into what I know I can divide evenly by 2. I know I can take out 400. I can take out another 100, so that's 500. I'm left with 39. I'm going to choose to take out 30 and 18. These are all numbers that will divide evenly by 2. I know I have one left over. Okay? So here's the area model I drew. Here's my 2. It's the side I know. I have 400, 100, 30, 18, and I drew just a tiny little box to represent the 1. So if I go through and do the division, 400 divided by 2 is 200. 100 divided by 2 is 50. 30 divided by 2 is 15. 18 divided by 2 is 9. When I add all of those up, I get 274. I know I have one remaining. 274, remainder 1.